Welcome to the Leading Life Podcast, the place where leadership meets real life. Here is where we talk about leading with intention, living with clarity, and getting better results for the people we serve every single day. If you're ready to grow, you're in the right place. Right now on today's episode, leading the next generation and what actually works. Hi, I'm Andy Zook. I'm your host of the Leading Life Podcast, where we discuss leading with intention, clarity, and courage. I started this podcast because I wanted to help people lead through the difficult situations we often run into. And I truly care about the people that work on our teams and the leaders who lead them. So I'm here to share what I've learned from over 35 years of leadership, coaching, mentoring, and motivating teams. So no fluff, no empty motivation, just the truth that you can actually use. Each episode is designed to give you real-world perspective and practical tools to help you show up as your best self at work and in your life. This episode was really born out of my own personal frustration not being able to always connect with our younger workforce. Some more than others, but I just felt like there was a few that were completely tuned out of what I was trying to help them with. They were not connecting. And so I needed to learn first myself what I could do better to connect with Gen Z. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. One thing that disappoints me though is when people just sort of write off generations of people saying they're lazy, they're entitled, or they don't want to work as hard. And I really think that relates more individually, instead of trying to say a whole group of people, a whole generation of people are not going to be productive in the future. That's completely wrong, and it's simply not true about Gen Z. And the funny thing about that is they said that about millennials 20-something years ago, and that's completely proven not to be true. They're one of our greatest advancing workforces and innovators that are out there. Now, in this episode, I know that I did use the term Generation Z because I do want to clue you into who I'm talking about. But for the rest of the episode, I am going to refer to them as our next generation workforce. I think it sounds better. For some people, Gen Z has a negative connotation. I definitely don't want that woven throughout this episode for you. And I'm going to do something different in this episode, and that is I'm going to start with the big takeaways for you right now. And then the next 10 to 12 minutes will be the practical steps that you can take to be more impactful for your workforce. Remember, they have a unique set of expectations and feelings about the workplace, primarily characterized by a strong focus on mental health, support, work-life balance, career growth, and values alignment. So some of those big takeaways just to start off is that they value transparency over perfection. They also want feedback in real time, not once a year, twice a year, quarterly. They prioritize their mental health, their flexibility, their purpose, and their work-life balance. They care about representation and fairness at work. They're incredibly entrepreneurial, and they're not afraid to leave a job that treats them like a number. So those are the big things I want to start off with, because most leaders misread these traits, as I said earlier, like entitlement. But under the surface, our next generation workforce is simply responding to the world they were shaped by. This generation is not unmotivated, they're unconnected. And the leaders who learn how to connect them will build teams that absolutely take off. So first, let's talk about who our next generation workforce really is. They were born between 1997 and 2012. They grew up in a world that moves fast, stops fast, and communicates even faster. They are the first fully digital generation, but that's not what defines them. Our next generation workforce wants meaning, growth, and leaders who actually see them. Mental health is a significant priority for them. They report higher levels of stress and anxiety compared to our previous generations. A large majority, almost 91%, experience mental health challenges occasionally, and many feel stressed or anxious more frequently. More than half of them believe that the traditional 40-hour work week is not mentally healthy, and a significant percentage would consider leaving a job for better mental health benefits. Most next-generation workforce graduates want to discuss mental health at work, but fewer feel comfortable doing so with their managers. They also value autonomy and boundaries between work and personal life. A majority prefer a hybrid workplace model and emphasize the importance of flexible schedules. Many would accept a lower salary for a better work-life balance, and burnout is a major reason that they leave jobs. They are ambitious, and they prioritize learning, skill development, and clear paths for advancement. Many expect promotions relatively early in their careers and are eager to learn, seeing it as crucial for success. Mentorship is also highly valued. A smaller percentage prioritize reaching leadership positions, often preferring to gain diverse experiences and skills. Despite other priorities, financial stability is a major concern for them, influenced by factors like inflation and student debt. Over half of our younger workforce live paycheck to paycheck, and a number would leave a job due to an unsatisfactory salary. They expect high starting salaries and job stability, and many desiring frequent salary adjustments. They also seek employment with companies that are authentic and align with their personal values. A high percentage desire purpose-driven work, and many have turned down employers based on ethics. Transparency and honesty are prioritized, and they want their managers to show care for their well-being. These statistics highlight our next generation workforce's views on mental health in the workplace, flexible work arrangements, and compensation expectations. The most misunderstood aspects of this generation in the workplace often stem from others' misinterpretations of their focus on mental health, work-life boundaries, and values as a lack of work ethic or entitlement. So here are some of the myths about this new generation in our workforce, and I want to talk about what the reality is. The one thing that people say a lot are, well, they're lazy, unmotivated, and they don't want to work hard. That's not true, because they are often highly ambitious and willing to work hard, and they prioritize efficiency over hustle culture, and they refuse to do meaningless busy work. That's why they want their effort to have a clear purpose and impact. Another myth is that they are entitled because they demand high pay and benefits. The reality is their demands are responsive to an economic instability and a higher cost of living, plus the student debt that's going on out there. They've seen older generations work tirelessly without financial security and seek fair, transparent compensation and job stability right from the beginning. It's actually very smart. Another myth is that they are disloyal job hoppers who won't stay long term. Well, what the reality is they want long-term security and are willing to stay with companies that invest in their development and provide clear paths that align with their values. Job hopping does happen because they're proactively seeking better learning opportunities, pay, or a healthier culture. Another myth is they prefer to work remotely and are antisocial. The reality is most employees prefer a hybrid work model and value in-person interaction for mentorship, collaboration, and community building. Another myth is they are too sensitive and fragile about their mental health. So let's unpack this. What is perceived as fragility is actually an open approach to mental well-being and boundary setting, something previous generations hid. They are prioritizing self-preservation and are quick to leave toxic environments that harm their well-being. This is their stance, which I think is very necessary to correct some of the dysfunctional workplaces we and generations before me worked in and allowed. The next myth is that they are digital natives who are tech savvy with all systems. Yeah, I would say overall the reality is they're more proficient with social media and smartphones, but they often need the same formal training on professional software as everybody else. And they can also experience tech shame because, technology is moving so quickly at us. They are not universally adept with all workplace technology, and they require the same clear guidance that we all do. And then lastly, the myth is they don't want leadership positions. Well, many individuals are ambitious and interested in leadership roles. They simply reject the traditional rigid corporate ladder. They want opportunities to learn and lead simultaneously, sometimes on their terms. Okay, so now that we unpack that, let's get into the psychology and neuroscience of our next generation workforce. To lead them, you need to better understand what's happening in their brain, not just their behaviors. Number one is the feedback loop. So they grew up with instant feedback, likes, comments, notifications, so their dopamine response is tied to quick signals of progress or value. This doesn't mean they're needy. It means their nervous system is just wired for faster calibration. Number two, the safety circuit. Psychologically, they value psychological safety more than previous generations. Their brains activate the amygdala quicker in environments that feel dismissive, cold, or have a strong hierarchy. That's why tone matters, and that's why being approachable wins. Number three, the meaning of their work. So when a leader connects someone's work to a mission, why it matters, Their brain increases the myelination around that behavior. So meaning literally deepens their learning. They learn faster when they know the why behind it. All right, so what our next generation wishes their leaders understood about them? All right, so let's really dig into this. This is, I think, the most interesting. Number one is they feel they are talked at and not talked to. This generation hates being lectured. They want conversations, not commands. Number two, they want to be seen as human first, employee second. Check in with them, ask how they're doing, and listen without rushing. Number three, they want real-time feedback. Positive or corrective, it doesn't matter. They just want to grow. Number four, they want to be shown the path. They want to know there's somewhere to go, a future, a skill, the next step. So make that clear for them. Number five, don't confuse boundaries with disrespect. They value balance. They're not being difficult. They're just trying not to burn out like the generations before them. And now let's talk about practical strategies for leading your next generation workforce. It could just be as simple as, hey, I saw how you handled that. That was great. Number one, use microfeedback. Short, specific, encouraging check-ins beat long, formal reviews. So try, hey, the way you handled that last interaction was great. Nice job. Or here's one adjustment you could try going forward that would make it even better. And what I've noticed with our younger workers is that the more formal and buttoned up and serious the coaching is, the more they're going to tune out quickly. So when I have my most impact as a leader is when I give them quick, simple, bite-sized strategies. That really is the thing that gets to their attention quickly and makes impact. All right. The second thing, number two, connect tasks to purpose. Explain the why behind the work. Tell them how it impacts the customer, the product, or the team, or their future career. When leaders can talk with purpose behind what we do, it transforms the work itself for them. Third thing is build a culture of psychological safety. They will shut down if they feel judged, but they will explode with potential in a safe environment. So if you want to build a culture of psychological safety, then just be real and human and relatable, because all the best leaders do those things. If you have phony expectations, then people are going to struggle to reach what you ask of them. They're not going to feel safe in that work environment. So don't set expectations so crazy high that there's nothing to grab onto. Be real, human, and relatable. Number four, give them ownership. Yeah. Let them run a project, lead a segment, test an idea. They thrive when trusted. Next generation workers love ownership with autonomy and freedom to be able to do it the way they think will have the most impact is incredible. It's the biggest gift you can give them. You have so much to lose if you micromanage every step of what they do. Give them ownership. All right. Number five, offer growth in bite-sized pieces. Show them what growth looks like today, not just a year from now. Skill stacking is their love language. Number six, communicate with clarity and warmth. Be direct plus human. Be firm but kind. This is the leadership tone they respond to best. And here is your leadership edge for this episode. Number one, ask instead of assume. So it could be as simple as, what's one thing I can do to support your growth this week? Number two, give one micro win every day. Catch them doing something right every shift, every time you work with them. It could just be the smallest thing, but give them that micro win every day. Number three, teach the bigger picture. Show them how their work ties into guest experience, sales, culture, leadership, product development, whatever it is. Show them the big picture and how it all works together. Number four, co-create expectations. Invite them into a process instead of dropping rules on top of them. And then number five, tell them what they can be, not just what they need to fix, because our next generation workforce rises to belief. All right, and here is your call to arms for this episode. As leaders, we don't get to choose the generations we lead, but we do get to choose how we show up for them. I'm going to say that again. As leaders, we don't get to choose the generations we lead, but we do get to choose how we show up for them. Think about that. That's pretty powerful. So this week, try this. Have one meaningful check-in with a younger team member. Ask what motivates them. Ask what overwhelms them. Ask what excites them. Give them one piece of real-time feedback, something they can act on and improve upon today. And then share the why behind one task that we are doing and connect it to the overall mission. Because when a leader understands the world their people come from, they earn the right to influence the world their people are going to. And to our next generation workforce, they're not a challenge. They're an opportunity. They're a generation waiting for leaders who show up differently. All right, so that is my episode. Thank you for spending time with me today on the Leading Life podcast. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who might need it or learn from it or it can help in some way, because leading your life well isn't about perfection. It's about awareness, courage, and choosing what truly matters. One day at a time. I hope this impacted you for the better. If it did, leave me a rating or review. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss another episode of the Leading Life podcast. And until next time, lead with purpose, live with intention, and keep becoming who you are meant to be. But most importantly, go out and be the hero of somebody's story today. I'm Andy Zook. This is the Leading Life podcast. I know you're going to make impact as a leader on your next generation workforce. Let's go. I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.